All right, everybody. Good afternoon. What is going on? Hope you guys are doing well. Victory Monday rolls on, and we obviously have a lot to talk about from yesterday's win. But before we get to all that, before we get to the regularly scheduled content about snap counts and Pro Football Focus, let's talk about some injury updates from yesterday because the Seahawks did have a handful of injury scares. Now, I do think scares is the important word there because it doesn't seem like anything that happened yesterday is going to be a problem long term or even short term. But we should talk it through anyway because just because a player is playing doesn't mean that he's not on some level injured, and we should be aware of these things, and things can change quickly as well. So, let's talk about some of these injuries. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today. Get to it and go have some fun with sports this year. All right, so first of all, Sam Darnold. Some of you guys may have forgotten this because it happened pretty early in the game on Sunday, and he didn't miss any plays. Sam Darnold did go into the medical tent briefly in I think it was the second quarter, and according to McDonald, he had a little bit of an ankle, should be good to go. So the fact that Darnold went out there and didn't miss any plays kind of speaks for itself, I guess. But we do know that sometimes you get an injury and then adrenaline lets you continue to play through it. And then after the game is over, you realize, oh, I'm actually injured. I'm going to have to miss some time here. Doesn't seem like that's what's going on here. I will say McDonald doesn't use the firmest language in the world, but doesn't seem like it was too big of a deal. But it is our quarterback. That's a pretty big deal. So we definitely need to be aware of that and worth keeping an eye on. Julian Love, he talked about Julian Love a little bit as well today when he went on the radio. Obviously, Julian Love got hurt a while ago, but we know that he's going to come back very soon here. Julian Love, according to McDonald, is still day to day. His injury timeline has not been linear. But according to Nemhauser here, they are hopeful he is back. And from where'd it go? Yeah, from Brady Henderson here, it's looking positive for Julian Love to return off injured reserve this week. It's not a certainty, but sounds like it's probably going to happen. Sorry, I got a little bit scrambled there with my tabs, but looks like Love will play against Atlanta. Not a guarantee. Obviously, Atlanta is another kind of softer opponent that if there's any kind of ambiguity, we might play it safe. But at the same time, I don't know if you want to throw Julian Love out there off the injury list cold against the best teams in the league either. So at some point, you're going to have to get him out there. But looks like Love will play this week, so good news there. Some other injury notes. We got Josh Jobe, fine coming out of the game. Per McDonald this morning, Josh Jobe cleared the concussion protocol, which I guess means he was not concussed in the first place, because you don't clear a concussion protocol when you actually get a concussion in less than a day. So I guess everything was cool. So that's good news because Jobe has already had a concussion this year. And I think stringing multiple concussions together in such a short period of time is a great way to have your career end early. So that's definitely good news. And also, according to McDonald, Ernest Jones was fine coming out of the game. This was the big one because obviously Ernest Jones played a remarkably good game, but also Ernest Jones, he got hurt in garbage time. So if there was anything that happened to Jones that was serious in that situation when the game was long over, it would have been infuriating. So good news here. Looks like he's fine. Looks like we're good. Ernest Jones, according to himself, by the way, yesterday after the game, he said his knee is fine. So granted, I understand that's him saying it. That doesn't mean it's necessarily the case. But it's I do think that it is a strong indicator when you put these two things together that we're going to be just okay. And the other injury update we got here was Rylie Mills, who I know a lot of people aren't thinking about right now. But I think other than Eric Saubert, we're basically caught up on everything we need to be caught up on. Rylie Mills, according to McDonald, will likely need all 3 weeks of his practice window. What that means is you have a 3-week practice window where you can practice without getting activated to the roster. And this is something that players that are coming off injured reserve get. So they're saying he's going to need all 3 weeks. So that means he got activated last week, missed the Vikings, misses the Falcons, misses the Colts. And then I guess theoretically he could be activated and play against the Rams, Panthers, Niners, right? Because those are the only games we have left. So Curtis Allen points this out. That's notable because if Mills only plays in 3 games, he will not accrue a season towards free agency. So we get an extra year of team control after his contract ends. He's going to be restricted in 2029 instead of an unrestricted free agent. Now, obviously, for that to matter, he needs to actually be a pretty decent player because restricted free agent tags are not nothing. But it does make it very easy to retain Rylie Mills at a reasonable cost for an extra season. So that's how this is setting up, and that's it's a lot of people have said think of Rylie Mills as part of the 2026 draft class instead of the 2025 draft class. This will make it officially so that you can do that. If we have a restricted tag we can use on him in 2029, he basically is a rookie next year. What's the difference, right? But maybe he plays in the last few games because you can play in a few games and it still doesn't count. So that's it as far as the Seahawks go, injury-wise. I don't think Jarran Reed or Torrey Horton are eligible to return yet, so nothing to say there. My understanding is that both guys look like they're coming along fine, but we're not going to know for sure for another week at least, to my knowledge anyway. There is one thing going on with a future Seahawks opponent, not the Falcons. I don't know anything about the Falcons with their injury situation. Obviously, we know we're going to play Kirk Cousins, but the Colts, they've got a pretty significant injury going on here with their star recently acquired cornerback, Sauce Ahmad Gardner, half strain in that game against the Texans. Week to week, hopefully he's back during the regular season. So that sounds to me like he's probably going to miss not only this upcoming game, but the game after it against the Seahawks. And remember, we've also got the Daniel Jones situation where he's playing with a broken leg. And you watch that game on Sunday against the Texans. He did not really look like a guy who should be playing football right now. So the Colts, big problems right now. Big problems on both sides of the ball, worth noting. All right, so that'll do it. That's all I got right now. We'll see where things go. We'll see what we learn from the Falcons as the week goes on. Kind of feels like it doesn't really matter who's hurt and who's not for that Falcons team. They've been going out so sad lately. But that is what is going on with our next opponent of some heft, right? You got a little bit of heft with that Colts team, although maybe not as much as we thought there was going to be. And yeah, that's it. So let me know what you guys think down below. More videos coming later, but I wanted to go ahead and catch up with the injury stuff. See you guys soon. Go Hawks. Everybody have a good day. And that is the situation.